Heavenly Birds, written by Pema Gyaltshen, illustrated by Chandra S. Subba, narrated by Tile Rechungwanchu. Rich and beautiful green meadows with plenty of marshland about 60 kilometers away from Wandipodang lies the valley of Popchika. The valley also boasts two rivers, the Bichu and Pakchu rivers. According to a local belief, the two rivers represent a snake and a boar. It is believed that the two animals decided to race against one another. The snake and the boar agreed that if the snake won, rice would grow in the Popchika Valley, and if the boar won, potatoes would grow. So the two animals raced against each other. The snake lost and the boar won the race. That is why it is believed mostly potatoes grow in the valley of Popchika. Popchika is also home to the Kante Hagang, an impressive Buddhist monastery, and the famous black-necked cranes. It is now late October, the time for the black-necked cranes to fly into the valley from Tibet, their summer home. The people in the Popchika Valley are excited. Trum, trum. The pleasing sounds of the cranes announce their arrival into the valley. As the cranes flew into the valley, they circled the Kante Hagang 3 times. Then they made a gentle turn and one by one landed on the ground. Upon landing, the cranes formed a circle. An elderly-looking crane stepped forward. It was the leader of the cranes. They decided to spend the winter months in the Popchika Valley and then fly back to Tibet towards the end of winter. The cranes lived in a closely knit community. They spent their time basking in the sun and feeding on insects, rodents, and even berries. In the mid of February, the cranes decided that it was time to move to Tibet. A week later, all the cranes finished preparing for the journey. The leader of the cranes ended the last meeting with a story. Once upon a time, there lived an old crane called Samden who, due to his old age, was not able to make the journey back to Tibet. The leader crane paused as he took a long, deep breath. Whoosh! Then he continued with the story. The cranes felt that the old crane Samden would not be able to make the journey to Tibet. So, some of the cranes decided to fly to Tibet to get salt for the crane. As Samden lay dying in the middle of the field, a group of people saw him and took pity on him. The people went to a nearby stream and collected some water. They gently poured the water on him. Meanwhile, the other cranes returned from Tibet with the salt. With the water from the villagers and the salt from Tibet, Samden was saved. The cranes who had listened to the story realized the importance of living in harmony with human beings. The night before the journey, the cranes gathered together. They formed a circle and performed their last dance. The music slowly ended and the cranes flew into the air one by one. While flying out, they again circled the Kante Hagang 3 times. Finally, as the last crane flew towards the sky, the leader crane whispered a prayer. May all my cranes reach Tibet safely. A month later, the entire group of cranes reached Tibet safely. To show their gratitude to the people, the cranes returned to Popchika every winter and filled the valley with happiness. Some interesting facts about the black-necked cranes. The black-necked cranes fly into Popchika Valley to roost, settle down, or stay for a certain period. The people of Popchika plant the winter wheat only after the cranes arrive in their valley to roost. They circle the Kante Hagang 3 times and the same pattern is followed as they fly out of the valley. The black-necked cranes are known to have a lifespan of 30 years. The famous Trum Trum Karmo dance is performed in praise of the black-necked cranes. The end.
I think I'll just go with the name. Haja means the birds from heaven lah. So if you look at it also, first of all, the cranes are a very important part of not just our environment but also our culture lah. So then I got inspired to write because like I said, this story I started in 2008 lah, but I only got it into existence in 2014. Happy about the outcome because my Hajja is a reader for classes 1, 2 and 3, and it's given me a lot of happy moments lah. Rituals and techniques, like if you're going to be writing like in that, like a report writing, or like, then I think we have a technique or a ritual. Of course, for writing also we'll have the first draft, second draft, then we have to do the editing process and everything. But as such, I try to refrain for me personally. So it's just I suppose that can come as my technique or my ritual. I try to avoid putting the technical terms to it lah. So as such, I would more or less like to say, like as writers, we have to always have our antennas up and about, always receiving ideas, absorbing, and more or less we should be like a sponge, very receptive lah, to thoughts or ideas and all. And what I usually do is I keep a little book with me lah. So every time I come across an idea or something, just random thoughts, I scribble. And then when I feel like, all right, then I sit down and I just revisit my thoughts lah. For me, when I grew up, writing was a great, reading, writing, great solace lah, because they gave me great happiness lah. And I think you can find it, especially for our youngsters right now lah, when sometimes they find themselves, aimless, or sometimes they feel like, confused or troubled. I think I would say, please, do try to read one page a day, read another page another day, read till you're drawn into it lah. And then I also want to encourage, if there was a possibility of reading the classics lah, try to explore the classics like Charles Dickens, Emily Dickinson, Thomas Hardy, these all these classics. And then even for the young, like Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer, these are all, classics are there. If you can try to, even if you can't really go into the higher level, they're the abridged versions. So as much as you can, try to read and try to explore the world of reading. It's very, it gives you so much peace lah. And then even writing can be used as therapy lah, therapeutic writing. That's what I used to do when I was in school, and sometimes I have children who have some issues, concerns, so I used to make them write lah. And after a while I got the name Article Madam also lah. So read and write as much as you can. I suppose try to deviate more from the world of depending too much on digital accessories lah.